Hello again and welcome to Forum for a Better Understanding. You know, usually we have a panel of guests, but when you have one guest who really can keep us busy for a half hour, we focus on that one guest. Today we have Carmen Matty Cervantes, who is a person who has been working in very important mission fields in Africa and in Haiti most recently, and she is now a staffer ministering in Haiti. On a little brief visit back home, we thought we would thank CRS for giving us the gift of having Carmen here with us. Carmen, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and your mom, whom I have very fond memories of in her work with Hispanic ministry here in the country. Tell us about yourself and your mom.
Well, as you've already said, my name is Carmen, and I'm actually the fourth Carmen. So great-grandmother, grandmother, and Carmen, the mom that you know, and myself. And so thanks to my mom's support throughout my whole time, I am now a Catholic Relief Services employee.
And you've been now, tell us a little bit about how you ever became connected to Catholic Relief and your different places of ministry for that wonderful group.
It's actually a sort of interesting story of how I found out about Catholic Relief Services. Now that I work for Catholic Relief Services, I realize that's one of like the treasures, like a secret treasure that the Catholic Church in the United States has. I found out about CRS as the acronym that is used when I was in Tanzania as a Marinoli missioner. So it was there that I learned about Catholic Relief Services. So when I came back to the United States, after working in Tanzania for 3.5 years, then that's when I decided to apply for what is called the International Development Fellowship Program.
And tell us some of the places that you have worked and ministered as a CRS agent.
So in 2009, I was sent to Burkina Faso, and I was there until April of 2010. And then they took me on in a car, and we crossed the border to Mali. And I spent 2 years in Mali until last February, and that's when I was transferred to Haiti.
Mali is in the news, at least at the time that we are producing this program for the first time. What would be for you your fondest memory and greatest hope and fear for Mali?
Well, just having the opportunity to work with the CRS colleagues. The way Catholic Relief Services works is that most of the people are the national staff, and there's very few what we call the expats who are there. So just to work with the people from the country and to work with our implementing partners. So they're the ones who actually do most of the work and where they're facilitating, because part of the work of CRS is to make sure that we build the infrastructure of the host country. So one of the implementing partners is Caritas Mopti, and Caritas would be, for instance, the Catholic Charities of Mali. So just recently I emailed them, our partners, just to let them know that I have not forgotten them. And when they responded back, they were very appreciative, and they said, well, we want to let you know that here every night at 7:30, the different families pray together and for peace. And so they sent me the prayer of St. Francis. That's what they pray every night.
If we're going to talk about Haiti and the work of Catholic Relief Services there, can you just tell us briefly the most important things that our viewers might need to know about the history of this poorest country in the Western Hemisphere?
It is the poorest country in this Western Hemisphere with one of the richest history, because it is the first slave country to proclaim its independence.
What would you tell us about, since the hurricane, 3 years ago actually, that long, it seems like yesterday, but it's 3 years now that we're marking. When you are in the streets of Port-au-Prince where you live, can you give us just a few images of what life is like 3 years after the disaster?
Sure, but I like to start a year ago. So a year ago when I arrived to Port-au-Prince, on my way from the airport to the office, you could see a lot of the tents that in today's media, that's what they like to show. And I would see a lot of just pavement and tents and houses. Today, a lot of where the tents were are really parks. And you see families playing in the parks. You see people playing basketball. You see people just spending their time outside. And so from 1 year ago to today, you can actually see a lot of advancements that has happened that normally the media does not show it.
One thing we're going to put on the screen right now, Gonzalo, if we could, is how to be in touch with more about CRS. There is a fantastic website. There is a way to be in touch with them on Facebook and Twitter. And if we could put some of those up, I wonder if, Carmen, you could tell us what there might be of this treasure of CRS that one might find at your website.
Well, if you go into www.crs.org, that is our main site. And you can find links to different resources. First of all, it talks about our mission, our vision. It talks about where we're serving in nearly 100 countries in Latin America, in Asia, and Africa. It will also show you different things that you can do as far as your prayers, how you can take action, how you can participate in different activities. And there's videos that you can look at. There's a lot of resources.
What we're going to do right now is give Carmen 7 chances to give us glimpses into the breadth of what CRS is. There's any number of ways to divide all that work, but there's 7 programs that are in Haiti, and I think if Carmen could walk us through them, we may be able to appreciate the magnitude of the outreach and the success of Catholic Relief Service. The first area, Carmen, that we could address is community resettlement and the recovery program. Can you tell us what that really means? It's something to do with after the hurricane.
That's correct. So at the very beginning, when you have an emergency response, you have 3 phases. The first phase is dealing with basic needs. Then you start the recovery, and then you start the reconstruction. So part of the thing was having temporary shelters. We started with tents, as what you would see on most newspapers and on TV. And then from the tents, you transition to what we call the temporary shelters. And those are the houses that are actually made out of wood. So that is one of the activities.
Now, we might be able to show and have you perhaps be able to talk over what's going on here in Haiti. Tell us a little bit about the temporary housing as it's being constructed in front of us on the clip.
So one of the things about CRS is making sure that we provide services, but it's not 100% what people would call a dole-out. So you have a program called Cash for Work, and so you have beneficiaries who have lost their livelihoods and who are also looking for work, as all the people who are unemployed would like. And so now they're constructing in this village what we call the temporary shelters, and that's what you're seeing right now. Local Haitians constructing, rebuilding.
Ballpark idea, how many people might be committed on your staff working in Haiti? How many expats and how many local Haitians?
Well, before the earthquake, because CRS was in Haiti 50 years before the earthquake as a response to another natural catastrophe. So we had a staff of about 250. The earthquake took place and it peaked up to 1,000 in the country. Now we're about 650, and about 610 are national staff and about 40 are expats.
So it looks like there's an approach in the Ministry of Catholic Relief Services that you might want to almost give us some precision on. How might it be different, the approach of CRS in helping in a disaster compared to the approach that other agencies that may spend more money but actually accomplish less?
Well, through this process of the earthquake response, so for instance, CRS did have 4 camps. And part of the process was to help get the people out of the camps. So a lot of the international organizations had the same type of activity, be able to provide a little bit of money so that people could pay their first year rent. But in addition to that, we provided other little services on the side. And those services were providing how to find a job, how to budget. And they were so successful that even people who were not in the camps would be invited by their friends in the camps, because it was that little extra as part of giving that holistic approach.
Which is what Catholic Relief Service is all about. You can't be in 100 countries succeeding being the Catholic presence in many areas that are non-Catholic countries without having a good organization. How would you, in a sense, want to say proudly just how wonderfully situated Catholic Relief Services is in countries?
Well, first of all, we're always there at the invitation of the local church. So it is because we are esteemed that we are there. Second of all, we work with partners, with our local partners. So it's a collaboration between the two. It's one of the principles of the Catholic social teachings that is called subsidiarity. So people at the bottom, people at the root, the own people rebuilding their own country.
And what we were seeing in the clip were definitely Haitians, so this isn't like imperialism personified as in many other efforts of other countries and other organizations that become very domineering and paternalistic and actually self-defeating in the long run. Well, that was only one point. Now we're on point two. The education program. Again, it probably morphed after the hurricane.
So for instance, before the hurricane, we had a program, which is still continuing, which is a school canteen program. The earthquake took place, and many of the schools were destroyed. I have understood that this week is the Catholic Education Week. So with the University of Notre Dame in collaboration, there has been, after the earthquake, an evaluation of how many schools are being served by the Catholic Church in Haiti. And then, so right now what we're looking at, like I said, in collaboration with University of Notre Dame, with the Catholic education system of Haiti and us, into what we call access and quality of education. And what the study showed is that 20% of the children in Haiti are being served by the Catholic Church.
Is that number 20% making you feel this is really amazing that much is being done?
Yes, it is. It is. And I mean, education is the future.
And the third area, obviously, has been there since '54, since Hurricane Hazel. But how did it change the issue of health?
Well, like you said, before what we've had is programs like for HIV/AIDS. We've had programs with maternal child health care. But what has changed, and even for the history for CRS, is that one of the main hospitals, the Saint François de Sales Hospital, collapsed. And so right now, in collaboration with 3 other partners, a foundation from the Dominican Republic, we have the the Catholic Association of Health here in the United States, the Archdiocese of Port-au-Prince, and CRS, constructing the hospital all over again. And this will become a teaching hospital in addition to serving the most vulnerable in Port-au-Prince and Haiti.
They are telling us that we have reached, unfortunately, the half point of our program. But please stay tuned, because in 1 minute, Carmen Cervantes will be back to share some more issues, some more success, some more challenges, and inviting us to participate with her and with her colleagues in Catholic Relief Services. Stay tuned.
KNXT thanks all its loyal viewers and respected businesses who have supported your Catholic television station. Now you can support KNXT with program underwriting by having your name, your company's name, or organization associated with your favorite program. Detailed information about you or your company will appear before and after each program or day part you select. Keep the quality and spiritual message alive and make a difference. Call 559-488-7440 today or go online at knxt.tv to find out more about program underwriting on KNXT.
Welcome back to our program on Catholic Relief Services here at KNXT. The point that we left off at would be the livelihood program, which is something else that has been on in Catholic Relief in Haiti. Can you introduce us to that? And I think we have a beautiful clip to illustrate it.
Right. So when you talked earlier that Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, well, one of the reasons is the economy, is the livelihoods. So that is one of the focus of one of our projects. So I'd like to show you the clip. And one of the other beauties is I get to live in Haiti, so at least I can share a little bit of Haiti with you through the clip.
And let's listen to this in the native language of the people.
CRS Rice Bowl. For Lent, for life. What you give up for Lent changes lives around the world. Burkina Faso, which means the land of people of integrity, is a landlocked country in the heart of the African Sahel, just south of the Sahara Desert. Most of the population depends on farming to feed their families. But frequent natural disasters, rising food prices, and recent conflict in the surrounding region has led to a severe food crisis in Burkina Faso. With your support, Catholic Relief Services is working with farmers in the poorest communities to improve harvests so they can grow enough food to feed their families for the entire year.
In Burkina, over 80% of the population rely on agriculture. And in the areas where CRS is intervening, I think that we have almost 100% relying on agriculture. Currently, for most of the households, the granaries are empty. The food prices have drastically increased. The average household cannot have access to food. The market gardening project is one of our most exciting projects for several reasons. We have trained the farmers in market gardening. They have mastered all the techniques, and they are even going time to time to other sites to teach other farmers how to do market gardening. This project is typically the way CRS in Burkina is strengthening the economic resiliency of the population.
When it is time for planting, all the farmers get together and have a meeting where they plan out everything. Everyone has their own role. For instance, the land needs to be plowed and the motor pump needs to be maintained. And there are people who are appointed to these roles.
The first step is to buy seeds from the field agent. We prepare the ground, and 45 days afterward, all group members help each other to plant the seeds. We fertilize the seeds and water them each day. The whole process of cultivation takes about 3 months.
Before we were beneficiaries of this project, the food that we harvested was enough for us for 6 months. And after that, we were starving and did not have enough food. But since we started doing the project, we now grow onions and corn so that we are able to meet our needs. Now with the onion harvest that we have, we are able to pay the school fees for our children. This project has set me free from many challenges, and I want to say thank you.
Your participation in CRS Rice Bowl makes the work of Catholic Relief Services possible. Here are 3 simple ways that you can make a difference. Pray. Remember our brothers and sisters around the world in your prayers this Lent. Fast. What you give up for Lent can change lives. Give. Donate the dollar value of your Lenten sacrifices to help families in need. Thank you for joining CRS Rice Bowl this Lent. Get involved at crsricebowl.org.
For more information about this program and others around the world.
Carmen, there's 2 things we want to do right now is let you really talk about Burkina Faso because you actually ministered there, and then introduce us to our Lenten project that is so apt for this time of year.
So you just saw the clip of Burkina Faso, and for me it's really special because I got to see 2 of my colleagues, Bangre, who's the country representative, and Mr. Koulibaly, who's the program manager for agriculture. And what's really beautiful is that through the Rice Bowl program, of course, we have it ready for you, is that every week of Lent, you have a country that is being represented. And the first week is Burkina Faso, where I did live from 2009 to 2010. And you also get to sample like a recipe from each of the countries. So if you ever want to taste a bean cake, which I did, and it's really good, you get to taste that. And so it's just different activities that you can do as a family. And so if you go onto the CRS website, that's where you can get these resources and a lot more, and you can just order, and everything is for free. But what's interesting about Burkina Faso, as the clip said, it's in the Sahel. So for the Sahel, it's basically semi-desert. So if we may sometimes have problems with agriculture here in the valley, where the soil is very, very rich, where we have the delta, then you can only imagine what it must be like for agriculture in the Sahel.
Speaking of agriculture, it's important for us to think of ways that other countries can be either exploited, as Haiti has been, or actually supported in their efforts by people like Catholic Relief Service. There's one final clip we'd like to show about something as important as bread, and that's the Cassava Project. Do you want to say anything before we play that clip?
Yes, as you can see, the programs for Catholic Relief Services, we may call them the same thing, which is called the livelihoods. But what's important is what is culturally accepted in one country is not necessarily culturally accepted in another country. And it's just part of the sensitivity that we have in our organization. Like I said, we look at what are the needs assessment. What are the beneficiaries? What are the people asking for? So what you're going to be looking at is a clip about cassava. And what you're going to see at the very end is something that I've been able to taste. And one of my Haitian co-workers told me this was the food of the slaves in Haiti. So we'll go to the clip.
Let's play that clip.
Bien difficile en pile parce que ça y a un travail. Nous plantons nous gen jardin manioc. Nous te kon planter manioc mais nous pas kon planter la avec tellement grande importance. Moi c'est Bernadette Charles, moi c'est présidente organisation OVDAN qui c'est organisation Femmes pour le développement de les Anglais. Nous mettons tête nous ensemble pour nous faire jardin. J'en nous planter manioc, c'est différent avec technique CRS vin bon nous. On y a nous obligé rester avec 3 variétés, yo pas plus rapide, puis yo bail plus rendement, ça veut dire variété ça capable aider avec grand goût qui gagne dehors. Nous recevons un moulin qu'on y a facile pour nous faire cassave. Parce que là, nous avons fait un exemple, nous avons pendant qui valeur de temps, nous avons beaucoup de manioc moulin, ça a fait un pile bruit dans la zone, nous avons délivré. Avant, nous avons commencé à faire un petit cop de plus que ça, nous avons commencé à. Écoutez, depuis que ça nous paraît dans le marché, ils vendent, c'est pas leur point que ça veut pas arrêter du tout. Même commencer, ouais, l'hypothèse un petit soulagement tout petit lié de moi. C'est pas seulement moi-même, l'organisation a gagné 85 membres là-dedans. Moi, je Marie Céliane Guerrier, c'est plus facile pour moi avec mon instant pour me faire ça. Moi, je Marty Denise, je apprendre comment pour me faire commerce.
Moi, je Finadelle Léoné, moi cultiver manioc pour famille moi.
Nous tous qui dans l'organisation, nous avons respirer l'autre l'air parce que nous avons espoir pour demain, oui.
Those clips from Haiti by CRS are gorgeous. They just give us such a good idea of what is succeeding. Can you tell us about the Catholics Confront Global Poverty effort of CRS?
Yes, as you saw at the very beginning of the clip, this activity is being funded by USAID, United States Agency for International Development. And what we've noticed that usually when they're trying to balance the budget, the United States government, a lot of the times it's trying to forget about the poor abroad. So less than 1% of the budget goes to foreign aid. And so Catholics Confront Global Poverty is a way to try to advocate with your local House of Representatives, with your Senate, just with anyone, just try to raise awareness that through programs such as Catholic Relief Services, we can actually help the countries.
Let's look one more time, Gonzalo, at the website, the Twitter and the Facebook possibilities of reaching out. We hope that this program wasn't just entertaining, but rather instructive and inspiring, leading you to do something to support. Now, our YouTube channel will not only have this program, but we'll be making links. Our Facebook page will also be trying to help you connect with Catholic Relief Services here and all over the world. Carmen, you have about 30 seconds. What is your last pitch you'd like to share with us?
Catholic Relief Services is about solidarity, and everybody needs to be together. So we just ask for your prayers, and we ask that you collaborate with us through actions such as Rice Bowl, so you're in solidarity with the rest of the world, and as I said, with Catholics Confront Global Justice.
We want to thank Catholic Relief Services not only for Carmen, who is here today, but also other representatives who have visited our diocese this year. Hope you enjoyed the program and that you'll support Catholic Relief Services in any way you can. Till next week, God bless.